So you're sleeping with the ball. You're at a young age. When did you start your first club team or real competitive team in Brazil?
Oh man, there's a funny story about that. So in Brazil we have now MLS started with the academies, so now they're actually
Yeah.
doing the same thing in Brazil. And we started an academy, and then you actually work yourself up to the professional team in Brazil. But the difference is here normally every state has one MLS club. If you go to California, maybe you got C2, and in New York, maybe you see two, but majority of other states they just have one. But in Brazil, in a state, you can find many other professional clubs. So there's like it's very competitive, and then you play against teams on from your own state. And in Brazil, we have the academies. And one day I actually was with my club, my youth club, not the professional academy. So I was with my youth, and we play a tournament. That one of the professional youth academies was there, and but normally they wouldn't be there because normally they play against them and they play in the tournament, the national tournament. But I think something happened, and they end up playing with, I think, their second team of that tournament. So they play against my team, and then the coach really liked me, and he said to my mom, "Say, can you bring Pablo on Thursday next week, so we can set up so he can train with us and see how he does with your players." My mom said, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And in my city that I was living in, we have two clubs. One's called Ponte Preta, and the other one is called Guarani. And the fun part of between them is like one stadium is like half a mile from the other stadium. So when they play against each other, they actually meet in one stadium, and they walk to all the way together as a team. The fans walk all the way to the other stadium. So it's like uh, tailgating. It's a big event, and so we actually went there on Thursday, as he said, and my mom waited in the lobby. Like, oh, we actually gonna come to you and take Pablo in. It's like, okay, no problem. But the thing is, they took too long. My mom was waiting. My mom was waiting. My mom was like, no, that's not how you treat your players. Even though you're not a player yet, but it could be. So that's not how you treat. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go down to the other club, and that's where you're gonna start. I said,
Wow.
"Are you sure? Are you sure?" I say, "Yeah." I say, "Mom, are you sure? Because this is the opportunity that not many players have, and I have opportunity to train." No, Pablo, I'm telling you, let's go to the other stadium. So we went down, which is like half a mile. We drove there. She parked. As we actually walk into the stadium, the team is coming out to train because their facility is like a block from the stadium. So they kind of like walk a block and then they get in the facility. And the coach was coming out as we walk in. I was like, oh man, that's that guy gotta be destiny. So my mom say, listen, I actually don't know you. You probably don't know my son, but he got invited to have this practice with this team. They took too long. I don't think you try to explain the situation. The coach like, oh, can you tell Pablo to come here on Monday? Yeah, you'll be on Monday. So I got there on Monday. We trained with the team. The guy liked me, and then that's how started it. And that was like how actually the beginning was pretty interesting, and that team was amazing. We had great players. One of you guys probably gonna know, it's Elano from the national team, that he was from that era, and we have a great team that we beat everyone that year nationally. So we play against like Flamengo, Vasco, big clubs, and we won. Even there is back the days there was a tournament called Copa Zico from the player Zico, that if you win, you play a tournament in Japan.
Oh
Everything
wow.
paid for. Yeah, everything paid for. So that's how we started it, and it started with this club, and they prepare you to become a professional player. So it's very competitive. They recruit nationally, and because here at MLS we have a little bit more of the zip code. Not every team can get players from everywhere. They have to respect the clubs that they're recruiting from. Because if a Chicago Fire comes to Minnesota to get player from Minnesota, they may not be allowed. But in Brazil, no, you can actually recruit any player from anywhere.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I really like I respect the amount of risk-taking ability that your mom has after listening to that story. I think that's really cool. Like that how much she respected you, how much she wanted you to be respected, and then also the ability and willingness to say, "No, we're going to take this risk. We're going to go to this other club because I want my son to be treated right." Do you think that the value from that story and then also from other times that like within your childhood that she sort of expressed that same sort of value. Do you think that that translated to sort of the rest of your life and the rest of your soccer career? Do you think that that like that ability to want to be treated well and respected with your clubs and also want to take risks and go for things that might be better for your career? Do you think that that translated?
That's a good question. For sure, because that's one of the things that I actually, keep talking to, expressing to the new players and everybody that I talk to. And sometimes some players sound really cocky and they're arrogant because that's not the way. They probably the way they're perceived, but it's not the way they actually are. It's just the set mind that you have to be to play well. So in a game, if you really want to perform and you want to, bring out your best player that you are or the best character that you are, you have to believe that you're the best. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you think that you're the best, sometimes you're gonna sound like you think you're the best and you're God. So, but if you talk to that player a day after the game, he's gonna sound way different. You're gonna sound a different person. So I kind of like started to understand that and try and from what my mom kind of like taught me and my dad as well that if they respect you, you're gonna be respect. And but first you gotta respect yourself. So if you see you're not being respect, that's not a good scenario. And from that on, I started building my confidence over that and say, okay, so Pablo, you are really capable of, and you think I think that I can do things. And from that point on, that's when I started playing better because it's not about performance, not about talent, it's not about skills. If you don't have your mind and your confidence up, nothing's gonna work out. You cannot perform. You cannot actually. You're gonna be afraid of making mistakes. You're gonna be afraid of taking plays. So, and I think that was the first thing that she taught me. Like, look, you're important. Doesn't matter what situation you are. You gotta respect yourself. You gotta believe that you're capable of. Yes, definitely.